Ryan Day's next move is crucial. He must take his time to find the right coach to replace Chip Kelly.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Hump Day edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. During today's show, we'll dive into the impact Ryan Day's next hire has on recruiting, as well as the importance of Ryan Day finding someone that aligns with his vision. But first, Ryan Day's next move is crucial. He must take his time to find the right coach to replace Chip Kelly. And we have all been in situations in our lives where we feel pressure to move a little bit quicker than we want to. Maybe in those moments we might panic. We might get out of character and start acting in a way where it leads to us making a bad decision. And Ryan Day is in that moment right now where he could panic, he could move a little bit too fast, and moving too fast could lead to Ryan Day making a bad hire and finding the wrong person to replace Chip Kelly. You're at Ohio State. You have the resources. You have the financial benefit of being in Columbus, Ohio. You don't need to rush. Ryan Day must take his time to find the right coach to replace Chip Kelly, because if he doesn't, it could mean bad things for Ohio State in 2025. And trust me, none of us want bad things to happen to Ohio State next year, which adds to the importance of Ryan Day not panicking. Don't listen to outside influences. Don't listen to what's going on outside. Simply stay and focus on the task at hand, which is making sure Ohio State has the right man leading the offense of 2025. May it be somebody on staff, or it could be somebody coaching at a G5 level. There are numerous avenues Ohio State has right now that they can go out and try to find the right coach to lead the offense. Go slow. Go methodical. Don't wait too long. You can't wait until August the 1st to hire somebody, but also take your time. And while taking your time, you'll be able to find the right person, the right coach, the coach that walks in on day one and everyone looks at him and says, ooh, that's the right guy. That's the guy to lead us off on the offensive side of the ball in 2025. And I think Ryan Day has learned this along the way, that when it comes to making hires, sometimes you can go and hire somebody that's your friend, or sometimes you can hire someone that was highly recommended by someone that you trust. There are also times that those recommendations don't work. But Ryan Day entering year 7 at Ohio State, we have seen Ryan Day make some really, really, really good hires. We've also seen Ryan Day make some decisions that may have looked great in the moment. But with hindsight being 2020, you look back and realize that wasn't the best decision. That wasn't the right thing for Ohio State to do at that point in time. And as you age and as you get longer, spend more time in a profession, you're going to get better at making decisions. And if you're in the hiring process, you're going to realize some hires I made in year 1 or year 2 or year 3, those hires wouldn't be made in year 7 or year 8 or year 9. And if you look at Ryan Day's track record over the past few years of just simply hiring people, Jim Knowles, it was the right hire. Chip Kelly, the right hire. Bill O'Brien, without even coaching a game, I believe Bill O'Brien was the right hire. Tim Walton, Matt Guerrieri, good hires. Matt Guerrieri, a rehire, because Matt Guerrieri came in 2022, went to Indiana in 2023, came back to Ohio State in 2024. And there's a real possibility of Matt Guerrieri being the co-DC in 2025, along with Tim Walton. Those were good hires. The one thing that popped into my head was 2020, Kerry Coombs coming in to be the defensive coordinator. And I don't believe he had been a DC before that point in his career. Now, he had previous stops in Columbus, Ohio. He was a Buckeye coach that a lot of people loved. And so it kind of made sense. He was under Urban Meyer, and Ryan Day, who was brought in by Urban Meyer to kind of be the successor to Urban Meyer. It made sense why Ryan Day felt like, hey, this is the right move right now. But we all could look back and say, Ryan Day, that wasn't it. That wasn't it at all. That was only year 2 for Ryan Day as well, as far as being a head coach. And so in year 2, if you make that mistake, what happened? You had Kerry Coombs for a year, maybe 7 or 8 games, or 10 games, or 13 games. Like, not being sarcastic or exaggerating. Kerry Coombs was the D coordinator in 2020, but the Buckeyes only played 8 games. And then in 2021, I don't know how many games he was a full-time defensive coordinator, because after the Oregon loss, I think Matt Barnes took over. So it realistically could have only been 10 games of the Kerry Coombs experience as defensive coordinator, because it didn't take long to realize this wasn't going to work. It didn't take long to realize that at all. But let's go back to the context. I don't know if Ryan Day rushed with that decision. I realized that Ryan Day was young in his coaching career, and he made a decision, and it wasn't the best one for the team. But he quickly realized, I could tap into some resources. I can look at guys that used to be Buckeyes that are coaching around college football or the National Football League, and that pipeline might be the one that needs to be tapped into. There goes Tim Walton. I don't really want to say the Perry Eliano hire was bad, because I don't think that was like a bad hire. There just may be someone out there that was better, that could be a better recruiter, that could be a better position coach. And I've never been one to settle and say Perry Eliano's hire was bad. I just simply think there was someone out there that was better. And that person was previously on the staff, and all of a sudden they come back and, an instant impact. And they align with Ryan Day, and it helps recruiting. It checks all the boxes. And so Ryan Day moving forward, and if you're a fan out there saying, oh, no, man, Chip Kelly, it was announced on Sunday that Chip Kelly was gone, and we know Brian Hartline's on staff, and just name Brian Hartline the OC and allow him to call plays. If that's what Ryan Day chooses to do, let that be what Ryan Day chooses to do. But don't rush him. Don't panic. There's no need to push the panic button. I don't have that button that some of you can buy at a store that says panic, and you push it and it's a panic situation. No, I don't have that at all. What I do have, though, is a mind that realizes that sometimes pushing a button, panic, but internally, we know a feeling we get when we feel like, somebody's panicking. And generally, when we get that feeling on the inside of someone's panicking or we're panicking, we make bad decisions. And something tells me, if I know an Ohio State fan, that a lot of Ohio State fans don't want Ryan Day to make a bad decision. I don't think any Ohio State fan, for that matter, wants Ryan Day to make a bad decision, which goes into why this needs to be a slow, methodical, not slow, methodical, and go too slow and be too methodical, but we saw Ryan Day when it came to Tony Alford leaving. Ryan Day took his time. Ryan Day got hands-on with the running backs. Ryan Day realized I could be a bigger piece of the pie and help out and help bridge the gap between Tony Alford, who went to the rival, to Carlos Lachlan coming in from Oregon. He could help bridge that gap. Now, the difference is Ryan Day could run the offense. Ryan Day could be in the QB room. Ryan Day could even also help with the O-linemen. But when two of the positions on Ohio State don't have a position coach, Ryan Day can't couple the O-line with the quarterbacks. Now, you have quality control coaches, and you got a GA that can help with that, but Ryan Day can't be doing stuff with Julian Sand and with Carson Hinsman at the same time for the entirety of practice. No, because there are individual drills that separate those two position groups, which also goes into adding, Ryan Day can help out a little bit, but just take your time, Ryan Day. And Buckeye fans, don't panic. Let Ryan Day do what he has to do to find the right person to replace Chip Kelly, to replace Justin Fry, and to replace Jim Knowles. There are 3 absences on the assistant coaching staff, and I think Ryan Day is going to get these hires right. There's no reason why you should think Ryan Day is going to botch this hire or any of these hires. He has shown you growth in the hiring process, and I believe every Buckeye fan right now should have 100% faith that Ryan Day will get these hires right too. While we have faith that Ryan Day will get these hires right, there's one thing Ryan Day must do in the hiring process to make sure his vision is something the future coach aligns with. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Looking for tickets to your next big event? Whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, Finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. But with Game Time Picks, it's never been easier. With Game Time Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals, so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings. I've been using Game Time Picks for a while now, and here's why I love it. The curated deals make it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. I recently grabbed a super deal for a prime seat, and I couldn't believe the value. The seat view feature is a game changer. Before I even hit buy, I can see exactly what my seat will look like in the venue. It's so reassuring, ready to make your next event even better. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Thank y'all for tapping into Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. When Ryan Day is out here trying to find Chip Kelly's replacement or Justin Fry's replacement or Jim Knowles' replacement, there is something he must do in the interview process to make sure he hires the right person. And that's make sure he finds a coach or coaches that align with his vision. The way Ryan Day runs practice, the type of players that Ryan Day looks for on the recruiting trail. Ryan Day must find someone that aligns with what Ryan Day wants Ohio State to be, either on the O-line or the quarterbacks or on offense or on defense. Find someone that's going to do what Ryan Day wants to do and let the chips fall where they may. And when I think about this very topic, I think back to Nick Saban. And Nick Saban, for a very, 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 very long time, had coordinators come in and coordinators leave. Coordinators come in and coordinators leave. Coaches come in and coaches leave. But no matter if it was a safeties coach coming and leaving or if it was a running back coach coming in and dipping really quickly or a coordinator, didn't matter what position they had on the assistant coaching staff. Everybody came in and did what Nick Saban wanted to do. And if they didn't, they weren't there very long. Also, if you do what Nick Saban wanted you to do, one of two things was going to happen. Probably both. One, you're going to have a real shot to win a national championship. And two, you're going to help get yourself a better job once you leave Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That should be the same thing at Ohio State. Any coach that comes into Ohio State should be able to come in, help further their own career, but also have a realistic opportunity to win a national championship. Isn't that what you play for? To further your, to coach for, play for too. You coach to further your career and to win national championships. Yes, there is a coaching aspect, which is why you got into the profession. There's a ability and the desire to create relationships and to help young boys or teenagers become young men. There's that desire too. But every coach out there, and I don't know a coach out there that doesn't want to further his own career, to be a better coach and to have a shot to win a national championship. Every coach desires that. And Nick Saban realized, if you come in and run my offense, you come in and run my defense, yeah, run your own, be a little creative with it and add your own flair, but you're running my stuff. Every coach realized, if we do this, we're going to be successful as a team, not just as an individual player or an individual coach, but the collective unit will be successful. Which is why I think in every 4 years, Nick Saban won a national championship. Now, I know that they went to some that they lost, but man, Nick Saban just had a system. He had a formula. And when you came in there, you didn't try to pull your own stuff. You didn't try to pull your own tricks out. No, you did what Nick Saban told you to do. And what was the result? National championship rings. Some guys got a ring. Some coaches got 2 rings. And it all goes back to Nick Saban had a philosophy. It worked. And when you follow said philosophy, good things happen. And Ryan Day is in a path right now and on a trajectory that if a coach comes in, they should just follow the leader. Now, it should be self-explanatory. You come in, you're hired by a man, you should follow the leader. But everybody and their mama knows. There are coaches out there and there are people out there that may get hired by a man or hired by a female, but they don't want to follow the person that hired them. They want to come in and do their own thing. They want to come in and lead the way. They want to pave their own path. They don't want to lead and follow the person that brought them in, which I find very foolish. They brought you in for a reason. They got to the place where they are for a reason. Why wouldn't you want to follow them? I mean, I've been places, man. I sold cars for, goodness, 4 years, 4.5 years. I forget how long it was. It was too long. Don't know how long it was. I would just tell you it was too long. I was selling cars too long. And I remember seeing guys come into the dealership, getting hired to sell cars, and they thought they could do their own road to sell cars every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But actually in Indiana, you couldn't sell cars on Sunday, which was a massive benefit because, man, I enjoyed that one day to be off every single week, or 2 days off. But you got that Sunday off as football Sunday, man. Just sit back on the couch and chill and watch some ball all day. But people used to come in and try to do their own thing. And it was very stupid. Absolutely stupid. For some of these young whippersnappers or wee hoppers to come in and try to reinvent the wheel. Okay, I know you've been doing this for about 15 years. I know you've been doing this for about 5 years. I don't care what your experience. I don't care about what you're doing. I'm going to do my own thing. And they come in and they might sell a car on day one. They might sell a car on day three. All of a sudden it comes up, you can't overcome objections. You can't figure out how to close a deal. You can't figure out how to be honest in a profession that is full of people that are dishonest. There's so many flaws in what you're doing. You're saying stuff you can't actually do. People are calling on your bluff, and you're saying, hold on. All the people I see on X, Y, or Z that are doing this, and they're like, why are you looking at X, Y, or Z? We have the path. We have the blueprint right here. You follow this blueprint, and you will be successful. And any coach coming in could just come and look at Ryan Day, especially after the 2024 season, and say, we got a blueprint that works. You want to know what it works for? It works for us. You know what the result is? That banner. You know what the result is? They're going to put a 2024 plaque up there in Ohio Stadium next to 2014 because the 2024 Ohio State Buckeyes won the national championship. And when you win a natty in Columbus, Ohio for the Ohio State Buckeyes, you get a number of that season up in the stadium, and forever we'll be able to tell the story of this season. And it starts. People look at that number and say, what's the story of the 2024 season? They'll talk about Ryan Day, talk about Chip Kelly, talk about Jim Knowles, talk about Will Howard and Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and so on and so forth. What about the coaches that were on that team? What they do? They follow the leader. They simply followed the leader. And Ryan Day, I think, has a reality, and he understands, I got to find somebody that lines up with us. I got to find somebody that does what we do, that's willing to learn from us and follow the offense that I have, but also be a little creative with it. I got to find somebody that does that. I got to find somebody that can build chemistry with our guys, and I got to find somebody that lines up with our coaches and doesn't mess up the chemistry and the cohesion that we have inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center amongst all the coaches, not just the assistant coaches, but the quality control guys and the analysts and the recruiting staff and so on and so forth. You got to find somebody that just fits in. It's tough to do. There are people out there that might try to get this job that might want to overstep and take down Ryan Day and say, oh, you're the head coach. Cool. I'm the next head coach in waiting. Wait, excuse me? There's no head coach in waiting. I'm the head coach. I've said repeatedly, Ryan Day now has said repeatedly that he loves Ohio State. His family is here. His kids are in school. He doesn't want to go anywhere. But somebody might be out there saying, oh, man, I could take this down. No. Follow the leader. Trust in Day. I've been saying it for a while. I'm going to keep on saying it. Trust in Day, especially when it comes to these hires. I believe everybody right now watching this show or listening to me can trust Ryan Day to find the coach that aligns with his vision. Take his time while doing it too. There's no reason to rush. You have time to find the right person to replace Justin Fry, Chip Kelly, and Jim Knowles. And while trying to figure out the right person to replace those coaches, there's one big thing the next coach will impact that correlates and goes with the future of the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll dive into that next. Thank you all for tapping in Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. When it comes to Ohio State, every offseason, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, you can look on the recruiting side and say, oh, this guy put Ohio State in his top 6, or this guy verbally committed to Ohio State. And we all know the impact and the importance of recruiting in collegiate athletics. And the next hire that comes into Ohio State not only needs to understand that and realize, yeah, the top 5 this, top 3 there. Ohio State's recruiting is at the top. It's one of the best in the country. And the next hire is going to directly impact that. Now, let's stick with Chip Kelly here for a second, because Chip Kelly just took a visit out west to a quarterback that Ohio State would love to have on their 2026 recruiting class. His name is Brady Smiegil. I was on the Twitter, and I'm sure some of you saw the picture and the tweet, and maybe have retweeted it or hit that repost button in regards to Chip Kelly making a home visit to Brady Smiegil. This was the day before Smiegil decommitted from Florida State. Chip Kelly was in his home the day before, and I believe did what Chip Kelly does. Build relationships and figures out a way to sell the school. And I think not just sell the school. What Will Howard did this year is going to be a massive recruiting benefit for Ohio State for the next 4 or 5 years, because there are going to be quarterbacks that watched Ohio State this year, that watched Will Howard play the football and say, that guy came in and didn't play and played okay, played decent football, was a decent starting quarterback for Kansas State. But coming in and coming to Ohio State after Kyle McCord and knowing Stroud and Fields were not too long away from being quarterbacks at Ohio State, they're going to look at what Will Howard did and say, I want to do that. I want to be a coach, a quarterback at Ohio State and be developed by Chip Kelly. And Brady Smiegil's a quarterback, and I talk about Will Howard on purpose. Brady Smiegil was recruited by Chip Kelly when Chip Kelly was at UCLA. The moment Chip Kelly came to Ohio State, you kind of had a feeling that Chip Kelly was going to keep that relationship with Brady Smiegil, and he did. Had an offer, cool, everything was flowing. Even though it was a verbal commitment to Florida State, everybody realizes verbal commitments don't mean nothing. Once you put pen to paper, that's when things get ironed out, and that's when things get real. Even then, you can get out of those those NLI documents and contracts. We've seen people do it. It's very, very odd, but we've seen people do it. And so when Chip Kelly is there in his home on that Saturday, I guarantee you Chip Kelly's talking to him about Will Howard. You see what Will Howard did? Set the highest completion percentage for, I believe, a CFP game. I know he broke Ohio State's single season completion percentage in this season. He had 6 games with a completion percentage of over 80, which is just insane. Absolutely insane to think about Will Howard being that crisp for 6 games. I mean, he was a crispy quarterback throwing the football, man. A pretty accurate guy out there, too. But 6 games of a completion percentage of over 80? That's unheard of before he did it. I never thought that could be done, ever. But he did it. And Will Howard is not just a massive benefit for Ohio State recruiting. Chip Kelly coached him. So I guarantee you Brady Smiegil on that home visit was thinking, if he can do that for Will Howard, and I might have a ceiling higher than Will Howard's, what can he do for me? And I guarantee you, Chip Kelly utilized that very recruiting tool of what Will Howard did, the kind of quarterback Will Howard is, what Will Howard did when he first came in. And my gut, no firsthand knowledge, haven't gotten any text in, but my gut tells me Chip Kelly talked about all that on that home visit. Now, whoever the next hire is must immediately start creating a relationship with these quarterbacks for themselves, but also not just creating one, help maintain the relationship Ohio State has with these players. And it's not just with Brady Smiegil, even though it's very, very important. Think about the other players in the 2026 cycle that Ohio State is maybe in their top 5, or maybe in their top 4, or maybe in their top 10. And all of a sudden, the new OC comes in, and you're wondering, what's the offense going to look like? How are they with the current players? Do they try to contact me as soon as they get hired? How much time is in between them getting hired and them contacting me or one of my coaches? This and that. How long? Sometimes the gap between the hire and actually contacting a player, it could get too long and the player loses interest because the school's acting like they don't have an interest. And reality is the coach is just taking too long, trying to be very, very slow and not hopping on it quickly, but you have to. Whoever the next coach is that comes in, the next hire, I know I mentioned Chip Kelly's replacement because of the Brady Smiegil thing. It doesn't matter if it's an O-line coach or it doesn't matter if it's a defensive coordinator, whoever it is, you must be able to recruit. The benefit of Ohio State is you have position coaches that recruit at a high level. And I do think, even though there was something lacking in Justin Fry when he was at Ohio State, the next O-line coach must be able to recruit, not just recruit the kids in Ohio, but be able to recruit the kids around the country, the national guys, the Davis Sanders Jr., the Jackson Cantwells, and other guys like that. You must be able to recruit those guys and do what is needed to win them over. Now, if they are in a NIL guys and saying, no, your NIL package must be X or I'm not going to commit there, then cool. If it aligns with Ohio State, great. If it doesn't align with Ohio State, great. I am not against a school restricting how much they play an incoming freshman. Wouldn't be at all. That kid hasn't even worn the jersey yet. Why would I dump X amount of dollars to you that you're telling me I have to pay when you ain't even stepped on campus yet as a student? Doesn't make any sense. So Ohio State can restrict some things to their NIL. First, you got to pay your own guys with the NIL. The Lathan Ransom, the Travion Henderson, Emeka Buka, Donovan Jackson, Josh Fryer. List goes JT Tuimoloau when Jack Sawyer, Ty Hamilton, Tyleik Williams. Sorry, Jalen Tuimoloau. I don't know why I keep falling into the trap of calling him JT Tuimoloau when it's JT or Jalen Tuimoloau. He told everybody in the first press conference he had, one of the first ones he had at Ohio State, don't call him JTT. His name is Jalen Tuimoloau. He doesn't know where the JTT comes from. I get it, JT or Jalen Tuimoloau. So we'll kind of work through that after his Buckeye career is over. Shame on me for letting that last so long. Ohio State moving forward. I think Ryan Day will get this right. Do I have a blind faith in Ryan Day right now when it comes to the hires? Let me know. Hop into the comment section. Leave a 5-star review and let Jay know if he's a little crazy to have faith in Ryan Day with this hire. Because I think Ryan Day is going to not panic, going to go very slow and methodical, not too slow, but take his own pace to find the right coach to replace Chip Kelly. Also being able to find a coach to align with Ryan Day's vision. It's very similar to Nick Saban. Nick Saban not only had elite coaches, Nick Saban found guys that aligned with what Nick Saban wanted to do offensively and defensively, and it worked. It worked to perfection. That man has more rings than you can think about having if you were a college football coach. And when we're not you, the coach that's playing the video game, the real life you going down there on the sideline and coaching the Buckeyes or coaching the Crimson Tide or the Auburn Tigers or the USC Trojans or fill in the blank college football school except for the team up north. I don't think any of y'all want to coach them. If you do, cool. Not really. None of y'all want to coach them. And if you get hot, no. That school, if you want to coach Michigan, think twice. Because I think they want to get hammered by the NCAA. One, they admitted they did some wrong stuff. Oh, we did some stuff, but it wasn't as bad as what you're saying. Oh, we did this, but no, you got some stuff false. Oh, wait, I did delete some. They're admitting their own fault. I can't wait for the NCAA to punish them. What they did is way worse than Tattoo Gate. I haven't stopped myself from talking about this foolishness on this show, but it come up because, think about coaching at Michigan. You think about the sign stealing, you just got to roll right into they cheated, they got caught, they're trying to do some things to lessen the punishment. I hope the NCAA does not lessen the punishment because they broke blatant rules, numerous level 1 violations, and when that happens, you must be punished. Also, the next hire impacts Ohio State recruiting. It goes without saying, but a good hire can boost recruiting. A bad hire, that is not something we want to think about. Thank y'all for tapping into Locked On Buckeyes right here on a hump day. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. I know I keep saying we're going to get into some position groups and talk about certain players and guys that might step up so you know what I think the depth chart will look like in 2025. But this coaching thing keeps lingering, and we got to keep talking about it because coaching hires are important, and every coaching hire matters. I didn't think I was going to say that on the show. I've never thought I was going to put those words together, but here we are. We're up out of here, y'all, on a hump day. We'll see you next time.